Hi everyone, it is 12:03. We are 3 minutes late, but that's okay. We had a lot going on today. So we are back with Design Decoded after being off for 3 weeks. Of course, it's the summer and everyone is taking vacation and we have to respect everyone's time. So we wouldn't be able to do a lot during the summer for the videotaping, but we're going to start today, and Alicia has the topic that we're going to be touching on.
Right.
And let's start.
Alrighty, so today's decode of the day is this common consumer notion that designers lead the most fabulous, glamorous, picture-perfect lifestyles. And that goes as far as, their home life is perfect. Their homes look like these perfect, polished, designed to a T, just amazing homes that, stains just happen, but they all of a sudden disappear, right? Because we can't have anything looking unpolished. Work life, right? They have the most glamorous jobs. That means that when we're on site and we're doing an install, we look like we're ready to shoot a music video or walk down a runway. Yeah. And we have this perfect handle on work-life balance. So we know when to clock out, and that means that work doesn't come home with us. We just go about our lives. We have tons of time for family. We take fabulous vacations, and we get paid bukus for design. So those are some of the thoughts that have been floating around, and I think that a lot of different things contribute to that. I would have to say television, social media, this big industry that's rising up of influencers, and it doesn't have to be geared toward one particular thing. The term is generally coined a lifestyle influencer. So when you see that and you see someone who's a designer, I guess depending on the appearance, it can easily seem like they would have that kind of structure in their lives or that platform for how they operate their business. But do you want to touch on that? Do you believe that? Do you think it's true for your life?
Do I believe that we live a fabulous life?
Yeah.
No. It is not the way it happens,
Right.
because you have time for your client's project, but do you have time for yours? I don't
Right.
think so. I think in every industry, though, there is that struggle.
Yeah.
Our clients, of course, come first. They're the ones that pays the bills.
Right.
So I think we put ourselves aside all the time to make sure that our business, our clients, are taken care of first, and that's priority for
Right.
us. So I don't think, and I can only speak for myself, I don't always look like I'm going to an event or well made up, or
Right.
because if I am, then I'm not doing any type of work. So that is not true.
Right.
I don't know where the glamorous life comes in. I have no idea where the statistic came from, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't
Have
exist.
you ever come across a designer and he or she has just been so poised and polished in their appearance, and you know that their business is thriving? Do you start to mentally make that association?
I think I used to in the past with any industry. It's just something that you grow hearing, that you should look the part.
Right.
if you're in a hairdressing business, doing in the in that business,
That's
doing hair,
true.
your hair should always look a certain way.
Mhm.
If you're in the nail business, your nails should always look a certain way. Shoe, I used to hear, growing up, you said shoemaker never has shoes, and you never know what that entailed until you get into business yourself,
Right.
and you realize that running a business is a full-time job.
Right.
It really is. It never turns off. It's not a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
It's not a 6 to 6. It's there's no time frame when you own a business.
Right.
That does not exist.
Right.
Okay? So to tell you that I get up in the morning and make sure my home is all put together before I leave, that is absolutely not true.
Mhm.
Because when I have to meet a client at 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, who's getting up at 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock? Although I'm up, I'm actually planning for my day of work, not to clean my house or to do
Right.
something. So, yeah, I mean, once you start running a business, you realize that that is a myth. It really doesn't happen. And when you see that that's how people view our industry,
Mhm.
it is not fair. It's not a fair thing to view anybody's business like that.
Mhm.
Because if I see a hairdresser or my hairdresser out in the street and her hair look a mess, I should not think that, oh my God, you do my hair on a monthly basis and you look like this. What am I,
Yeah.
you don't look like what you do at all. I shouldn't judge that person. I don't know if she had 10 clients that was lined up.
Yeah.
And she was doing their hair and she didn't have time to do hers,
Mhm.
it happens.
Right. And I think also, playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, there kind of has to be some element of truth to that. I don't think it should be necessarily law written in stone, but there's definitely, like, I know here we strive to keep our office looking a certain,
Absolutely.
in a particular state, so that when people do, appear in the office for meetings, it definitely shows, like, oh, they.
Well, absolutely, your place of business
Yeah.
should reflect you
Right.
at all times.
Right.
That's where I draw the line,
Mhm.
right? Your place of business should look like your business.
Right.
Point blank, period.
Mhm.
That's where I draw the line. But when it comes to you or your home, I'm not saying that if you're going on a professional event or you're going somewhere that, a consultation.
Mhm.
If I'm going on a consultation to meet a client, I'm not going to go like if I'm going to install
Right.
an entire home
Right.
or install a room for a client or
Yeah.
that's not how I'm going to go,
Right.
right? But presentation, we know for a fact, is everything.
Mhm.
And in design, presentation is what people look at.
Definitely.
So I'm not going to go to a consultation with a client looking like if I'm going to an install.
Right.
These are things that we keep in mind, but I'm not going to get up in the morning on my day off on the weekends
Right.
or when I'm not installing to say I'm going to put makeup on, lipstick on, get dressed
Yeah.
because I have to look this way that society said I have to look.
So, in society right now, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, beauty is everything. Everything. I mean, even to the extent that people have entire platforms dedicated to just makeup in general, showing you how to glow up, if you will. So that's become a very big, statement, but also at the same time, there's this juxtaposition where it's owning you. And so if you don't follow that pattern of, I want to be full glam all the time, you kind of get to lean into that, I'm just being me, I'm being honest, and there's some transparency there, which I think I like more than, letting people only see kind of the photo finish, but no one gets to see the hard work, no one gets to see, the working hands. There's so many people that take pride in how their hands look because they know that they've been working so hard. Would you say that it's kind of a necessary thing to hold on to the work process and letting that kind of be a statement in how you're operating. So you're okay with going to installs and looking presentable enough, however, not like I could do a photo shoot right now. I know you've said that in the past.
I think you should always look like you can do a photo shoot,
Mm-hmm.
but there is ways in which you can handle that, because
Right.
when you're in the workplace, you're in the workplace,
Mhm.
right? When you're at an install, you're at an install. You should always be dressed in your brand, your shirt that says your name,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if it's a jeans or whatever you feel comfortable in, but it should represent. Your
Right.
hair should be always together as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you should look presentable.
Right.
But it shouldn't be where you see me at this install where I'm like, because first of all, I can't wear makeup, I can't wear lipstick, I can't wear these things at an install. The risk of stuff getting on a drapery panel or someone's bedding or someone's sofa
Right.
is a great risk,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's impossible
Right.
for me to be glammed out at an install,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I need to actually make sure that there is nothing that can be my company to be held liable for anything that goes wrong as far as your makeup being brushed off on somebody and we can't get it off.
Right.
You know, it's a liability.
Yeah.
So we have to think about all of this stuff as well.
Definitely.
But of course, I want you to look like you're at work,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I get it. I understand. Me, when it comes to that point in business, I think if you look like you just roll out of the bed, then I have a problem with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you don't think that you should take this as a professional environment, then I have a problem with that.
Right.
But if you came there in flip-flops or in a dress-down pants that you feel comfortable, let's say a sweatpants, you feel comfortable in a sweatpants,
Right. Right.
but you have on the t-shirt,
yeah.
right? And your hair could be pulled in a ponytail
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. It's comfortable.
Right. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So getting past kind of this surface level expectation that's kind of placed on interior designers, getting toward, I guess, the personal aspect of it, a lot of people view designers to have like this very healthy work-life balance. Do you think that you have that?
What
Do you
is
think that that's
what
true?
what are they determining a healthy life balance?
Yeah.
What is that? What
Well, what do you think the factors would be?
So
For you.
I mean, I can't even begin to say what they're, getting that in that where they come into that, that place for that. I don't understand. Like, what is a healthy work balance?
I don't take work home.
Oh, that's impossible for me.
Mm.
I've been doing this for several years, and there's not a time that I don't think about a project or something that I'm working on, or I don't take this home with me. There's never a time. I think you have to draw the line where you're like, okay, if I'm working Monday to Fridays, and I know that is strictly for work, I want to give my family some time on the weekend, I cut it off at some point where I will be, okay, this is family day, we can do this, or this is, we draw that line. But when it comes to taking work home, that just doesn't happen in my life, so I don't know. Because it's not a regular 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Because there's times when I have to do consultation after people after their work hours.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So someone might be on a 9-to-5 job and they cannot do a consultation between the hours of 9 to 5.
Right.
I don't say, hey, well, because my business runs from 9 to 5, I can't see you after 5 o'clock.
Okay. And that's a good point to make, is that understanding that there is, again, last week I talked about going the extra mile and what that looks like as a character trait. And I do believe that in order to have a successful business, there is a lot of going the extra mile that you kind of have to apply in your work life as well as in your home life. I am a newlywed, almost, and just taking on any job would be difficult to transition from, okay, I just got off of work, just left this at work, I go home. There's still that mental connection to what you've done, but physically, do you see that there should be a cutoff? I'm asking you, just
there
because,
should be a cutoff.
What is the cutoff for you? Because there's a ton of people out there who go the extra mile, and they also don't understand that there is kind of a cutoff for
There
that.
is a cutoff.
Workaholics.
And what I'm saying is that it should be something that works with your life. Everyone has a different lifestyle.
Right.
Everyone have different priorities.
Right.
And it just has to work with your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for me, I don't have kids under a certain age.
Right.
My youngest daughter is 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't have to run home to do homework.
Right.
Or have to be home to do this, or my kids are all on their own, not
Mm-hmm.
living with me or anything like that, so that's their responsibility.
Right.
So I don't have that responsibility.
Right.
So I can't talk for somebody who has kids under a certain age, right? Because obviously you have daycare that you have to pick up your kid at a certain time. If you're married and you have a husband, you have to actually make sure that you go home to get his dinner ready, or whatever your family dynamic is, you have to work around that.
Right.
So not that because this is not a 9-to-5 means to say that you would be here all day every day working and forget
Right.
about your family dynamic.
Right.
That is not what I'm saying
Right.
at all. What I'm saying is that I can work. My schedule could be changed accordingly because I don't have that responsibility.
Right.
Like someone who has that responsibility.
Right. Yeah. So,
And I wouldn't knock that person if they need to leave at a certain time.
right.
I need to be out of the office by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to arrange, well, if I am normally a 9-to-5 person,
Mm-hmm.
I can schedule myself maybe 6 to 2, or
Right.
you have to arrange it that works for you.
Right.
If I have to take my kids out to the daycare at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I have to pick them up at 3,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to work my schedule accordingly.
Right. So the point I was trying to get out of this was that there is no one size fits all for any of these industries. I know that many design industries out there, fashion design, interior design, architecture, architectural design, a lot of those, even graphic design, and web design, there are so many long and strenuous hours that you could put into at the office as well as at home, or a home office if that's how you operate. And a lot of people think that you can look at one professional and you can say, wow, she has it all. She's operating her social media, it's doing great, her business is thriving, she's got tons of referrals, she's in magazines. I mean, she has so much success right now, and I still see her having time for vacation, spending time with her family. She has everything. And they can go and they can look at the next professional who's putting in more office hours, and they aren't tied down by a family, or this is kind of their time to grind, and they're trying to put their name out there, so they're putting in that extra work, and they're laying down the groundwork. So you see that person and you're like, wow, they are kind of like a workaholic. And sometimes they very well may be, but oftentimes it's just the power of perception. It's a matter of you thinking that there's a certain standard that every professional should have, and that's not authentic. It's not the reality of our circumstances. We put in the time that is deserving of those projects, that work, and we just naturally, every professional, I would think, just hopes that that shows through the quality of their work. It's not a time game. It's not how many more clock-ins can you get over me. It's simply work-life balance is something that everyone is trying to navigate. It doesn't matter if you work in retail, if you work in design, if you are an actor or a politician. And yes, those are all different avenues of work. However, it's up to the individual to balance it how they see fit. It's not a matter of, all designers should work this way, and all bakers should work this way. It's not that simple, I would say. And so, moving into the professional aspects, is there something, certain qualities or things that you pinpoint in other professionals or even in yourself that you think encourages the thoughts about us being so picture perfect at all times?
I mean, like I said, I can't see where people would get that torch from. I really don't see it, because I've seen designers who, if you see them in person, you would never even believe that they're designers, but if you see their work, it is immaculate. Their work really is like out of this world.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah. So I don't know, honestly. I think it's just growing up and hearing these things, like you said, social media, TV. It just pictures everybody. Every time you see a designer on TV, they're looking like they put together, and that's filming. They stop and they film the next, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if in real life, that does not happen. It really doesn't. So when you're dealing with real life, everything is real life, and what we see on TV is not real life.
Right.
It happens by their video. It happens in a space of time. Like it's a process. But I think people they are allowed to think what they want, and they are given that, they have that responsibility to choose who they want to, depending on what they see and what they like. Because I'm telling you, I have seen some of the best designers who are not put together, right, when it comes to their personal appearance,
right,
or their home. And I've seen designers who are well put together, right, and their work doesn't represent them. So it happens.
I think for me, a trait that I really think encourages this very polished and poised presence that designers should have, I think a trait, and it's not a negative trait at all, I think it's confidence. When I see a designer who approaches me, whether it be at like market or some networking event, when I see them and they have this confidence, this, you can't really disturb my success, you can't disrupt my vibe, I'm, very confident in my profession, in my authority, and what I'm able to produce, and I think that, for me, really does kind of get me all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm like, oh, they're so, like, I mean, even when I first met Derry, that was kind of like my impression was like, oh, wow, she carries herself with so much confidence. Like, I love that. She's clearly a designer. I thought it was pretty cool. I think that confidence, at times, appearance, it can be negative or positive, but, you know, we are very visual creatures. We have to see things to believe it. We love to see what's happening in the world. We love fashion. We love movies. Music videos have kind of trickled off into their own thing. But beforehand, we used to love to look at music videos. And so being visual creatures, we definitely look at appearance. And I think when someone does approach me and they are well put together or well manicured, not necessarily nails, but just, you know, they've tamed the flyaways and they have clothes that, you know, are fairly presentable looking, I think that encourages that, oh wow, like this is someone of status, this is someone important. I know that many people come across someone and they see that and they're drawn to it. It's almost like the confidence beneath the clothes is really what like keeps you intrigued. But at first it is that appearance that gets you intrigued. When people are looking for a designer to work with, they look at your work, yeah, and that draws them in, but it's the substance of the process. Are you going to take care of me? Are you actually going to answer my phone calls? If I send you emails with things that I want in my space or inspiration that I've been thinking about, and I know we talked about inspiration, you know, prior to, but now we're like halfway into the process. I just want to send this to you to maybe add something. Are you going to be bothered? Are you actually going to consider it? Are you going to talk to me about it? The substance of your work is what really carries someone over to, yes, I want to work with this person. I want to continue working with this person. I want them to be around. And that's kind of what encourages a healthier view of design professionals. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, if you are the type of person that's very clean cut at all times and photo ready at all times, I don't see anything wrong with that. I kind of wish I had that gift. You know, everybody kind of wants their lives to reflect some form of a movie or a TV set where, you know, you had to fly away one point and then it just went and you're fine.
I actually don't wish that for myself because I find I am more authentic when I'm at my true self. I just think that we sometimes portray things that we are not, and only then can we really in our natural state. Because for me, I have gotten questions about my hair. I have gotten questions about, why don't you wear makeup? You're so beautiful. You know, you should wear makeup. And if I am that beautiful, why should I wear makeup? That's my whole point, right?
Right.
And it's a preference. It's not that I'm not against anybody wearing makeup. I'm not against anybody.
Do you need to be photo ready by wearing makeup?
No, you could be photo ready without makeup.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Like for me,
Right.
I think photo ready for me is actually being in my full authentic self, in the sense that I want to be captured in my real self. To me, most of the times the pictures that we post on Facebook with me just in my natural self, just being me, is the most capturing picture that I think.
Right.
Yeah, that
Kind of
captures,
moments are the
absolutely. So for us to really be in this mode where I always have to be picture ready, I always have to capture this scene, because people, I think that is just putting on a facade. Some people do that because they don't know how to get out of that state. It's kind of an act that they're doing from that point on until then. So I honestly believe, and I think I connect with my clients more on me being me and my natural self, because I don't think we have to have on makeup in order to take a picture, or we have to have on makeup in order to be in front of a camera, or video, or all of that. We could, as long as you're in a proper attire, your hair is I wouldn't say properly done, but it is groomed. You are groomed. You're picture ready. So that's how I feel about it. And like I said, I'm not against anyone who does not feel that way, because like I said, you were saying there are people who feel that way at all times, and I have nothing against that. To each his own. But my whole thing of being ready is that I should be ready to represent myself. I should be ready to represent my business. I should be ready to represent, and it should be in my true self. Right? It shouldn't be something that I'm always forcing or trying to be that, hey, well, I have to do this in order to get this kind of attention over here. Because if I don't look a certain way, this person wouldn't notice me. So I think that's very important for people to know as well, because we tend to go out there as individuals, as business owners, and think we have to spend all this money to show that, when we don't really have that money to spend. But we do it anyway because it's this facade that we need to put up. That, trust me, clients, consumers will see right through you, regardless of what it is you have on. The mask is up, they see right through you. It doesn't matter. It is. But I think in ourselves, even being in our natural self, we should always be clean cut, looking presentable at all times. You should look like, hey, you own a business. You should look like, hey, you're the principal designer of Tranquil Designs. Yes. Even if I wear a Tranquil Design shirt that labels Tranquil Designs and a jeans. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to always be in my brand at all times.
So I think that what Derry was getting at about being in your natural state and she feels the most authentic, it's really, again, going back to substance, like I said before, substance of character. A client will see through you if you're nothing but a snake in the grass, and you're just wearing something that looks enticing.
What do you say, wolf in sheep's clothing?
If you're a wolf in sheep's clothing, then it becomes pretty apparent by the red flags, and not everybody catches on to it, which is unfortunate, right? We've all been kind of hoodwinked by someone in our past at one point or another, but for the most part, the popular majority can see through what is actually coming from a real and genuine place, and then what's just kind of, I just want followers, I just want this, I just want that, and that's actually becoming a really big thing.
And honestly, if you have seen, there are companies, well, fake people could make up a fake company, set up stuff that looks great, looks good, and then you go on and it's totally a fake company that was set up, and you're thinking, oh my God. I know that we saw a documentary of a guy who created this restaurant in some kind of abandoned yard space. I don't even think it was his, but he created this thing, put it up on social media, and he had people around the corner making reservations to come to this restaurant, and it didn't exist.
That's crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just, like, we can do whatever we want with whatever we want. You can make yourself look like you're making millions of dollars. You can make yourself look like
it's a game of illusion. And
and
it's definitely about perspective. It's it works in your favor oftentimes if you're using those tools properly. So again, we don't believe there's anything wrong with being photo ready no matter what state it is, whether you're someone who likes makeup or you're someone who can go without, you like your hair done to the nines, or you just, want to rock the kinky curls. I mean, it's really your preference. It's up to you. Being presentable, it doesn't look one way, and I think a lot of times people think that they can impress all of their ideas and ideals onto any party of people and say this is the standard, but really it's up to you. And again, I guess I stress this often, but again, focusing on what's happening inwardly.
Absolutely.
Your character really is what strikes people the most.
Absolutely.
Like I said, confidence is something, it's a trait. It's not something that everyone works toward growing into. It's not necessarily something that everyone possesses. Some
Absolutely.
people are just simply not confident in what they do or how they operate, or when they're speaking with people, they just,
and it shows.
shake and
Trust
rattle.
me,
It definitely
show.
does.
It does
Yeah.
show. And to your point too, it's just that no one knows you for who you are unless you show that.
Right.
Insane. So I'm saying you can show it and still be professional,
Right.
right? And most of the times we think that we have to conform to something
So
that
true.
we are not
Right.
in order to get to where we need to be,
Mhm.
right? But it's actually, you can be yourself in a professional manner,
Right.
right? And true to yourself and true to what you do. And this is what really connects people to people.
Mhm.
Just being true
Right.
to yourself and true to them no matter what. So, moving forward, for me, like, I honestly, and like, this is something that I discuss with you guys all the time.
Mhm.
If it is that you are in any type of branding shirts or anything that says Tranquil Designs
Mhm.
or anything that has my name on it, it should be in a professional manner.
Right.
Because I honestly believe that no matter what, that representation of your company should be portrayed in and
Right.
out of
Yeah.
your workplace.
No, that's so true.
Yeah. I'm telling you, people are looking. You don't even know that they are looking, but they're
There's
looking.
always eyes,
Yeah,
for sure.
they are looking.
Yeah.
So if I was someone who says, you know what, I don't like pants,
Mhm.
and I just feel I shouldn't be wearing pants, and I'm going out in public with my Tranquil Design shirt with no pants.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
what do you think that people would think of
They're like,
me?
"Oh, I don't
here?"
wanna wear
Right, that's what I'm
that.
saying. It's
Yeah.
just you have to be able to represent who
Right.
you are in a professional manner. And
Right.
professionalism does not mean putting on makeup or,
Right.
looking camera ready in the
Mm.
sense that people think only makeup makes them camera ready.
Right.
But professionalism is how you carry yourself,
Right.
right? How you portray yourself,
Mhm.
and what are your qualities, and that's big, because if I was to judge everyone on how they look, but not the worth of their work,
Mhm.
then that would be a problem.
Right. And I'll also say, to your point, sometimes the worth of your work can even attest to the substance of your character. We have worked with people that have produced great works,
Yeah,
but the character aspect,
absolutely.
I feel like that is so important. That really, that's what people are drawn to the most. That's what keeps the linger there.
Right.
Because you can always go on someone's Instagram and say, oh, I like their interiors, double tap. Oh, I like her outfit today, double tap. But it doesn't mean that you're going to go choose her for work. It doesn't mean, you're going to go to his business to get this done. It doesn't mean anything.
But another thing too people are big on, you can be the most well-dressed designer in the state of North Carolina.
Right.
And you have great work to show for it, but you don't have any good reviews.
That is true.
That can, I don't care how well you look, you could always be magazine ready, camera ready, or whatever, and your reviews don't show that.
Right.
That's another thing you have to look at, right?
You could be lacking in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. So it's all round, right? It's a well-rounded. So for me, it starts from the initial contact. So your website is the first thing that people see. Right? They go to your website. They go onto Google. They type in interior design in North Carolina, interior design in Raleigh.
Right.
It takes them to your website. They pull up your website. Wow, this looks beautiful. They may see a picture of you or whoever works with you and say, wow, okay, everything looks good here. And then they schedule they call, right? And they said, okay, I would like to schedule a consultation. I talk to them on the phone for 30 minutes. And if my professionalism is not intact from that phone call, that person is not even going to schedule an appointment to come into the office. So it doesn't matter how my website looks. It doesn't matter how much reviews I have. It doesn't matter how much work that I have done. If it is that I am talking to them in any kind of way that is off, that right there stops them in tracks. So so like I said, it's not only having the profile, and it's not only having the work and having the review.
It's about going beyond that.
Absolutely. So it is a chain reaction.
Right.
So they talk to you, they schedule the consultation, you get to their house, and you show up in pajama pants, and I mean, come on. What, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's a line, it's just, if I show up in a jeans and a Tranquil Design shirt, well, in a nice slip-on or something, my hair's put together, I look clean, I look nice, I'm presentable. Right? I'm me. If I show up in a pajama pants and some pajama shirt, I look like I just, it doesn't necessarily have to be pajamas, it could be sweats. Right? You're going to meet these people for the first time. I can understand wearing sweats at an install.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's you have to think about your point of contact from the time you talk to this person on the phone all the way up to this presentation that you're going to give.
Right. Points of connection are a big deal in this industry. That's how we make networking happen with other designers, vendors, and sales reps, and clients. And that's honestly, I mean, putting in that groundwork, just laying it down, being presentable, being a well-rounded professional, those things are what produces things like referrals. Like, people are talking about you.
People feed off of your energy too, right?
They're talking about your whole business platform. They're encouraging you. They're supporting you. And you have some pretty decent supporters.
I do. I really do. And I have been blessed. I got to tell you, God has truly blessed me. Even in my clients, my past clients, my present client, God has truly blessed me. I'm not going to say that I haven't had difficult situation or circumstances, because no matter what you do and you go through life, those things are going to come. Right. But what I'm saying to you is, if it is that you are honest and true at whatever you do, and the professionalism is there, you win. You will win all the time. You may not get the client. Like I said, every client is not yours. But if you take that into consideration too, this is how you're going to run your business. It doesn't matter if you have somebody spending this amount or you spending that amount. You treat everybody the same. you're giving them 100%.
Right.
It does not matter. And this is where I think professionalism lack. I don't think it's more about how you look or I think it's in the professionalism. I think we lack, because once we get comfortable, we start to, our standards get sometimes people lower
Even
their
ego
standards.
kicks in sometimes.
Sometimes.
Like, what? I got success.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that's a big thing too. What is success though? Because success is defined by different things.
Right.
What does success mean
Right.
to you? That's everybody
Yeah.
have their definition of what success means.
Right.
You understand?
I think what defines my successes really are kind of the starting point of all of them has been a goal. So I set a goal maybe like 6 months ago while I was in school, and I said by X amount of time I want to have a job in the industry. I feel like I've reached success right now.
Right.
But obviously there's a new goal now.
So you would say success is countering your goals.
Right.
You would say that is
it's
meeting
getting
your
to the
goals.
and then eventually exceeding to the next goal. That's, for me, that's how success is counted, because it can always change.
Correct.
It can always grow.
Correct.
And everyone's is so different. And, you can have success in your health, but not have success in, your work life.
Everyone's definition of success is different.
Right.
So what might make you think that you're successful may not be for someone else, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because like I said, everybody have their different level of what they think success is in their life.
For
Some
sure.
people just waking up in the morning is success.
Right.
They wake up in the
Definitely.
morning to live another day. For
Definitely
them, that's
successful.
wow, I have conquered.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Some people just having children might be a success.
Right? There's small
so,
successes, there's grand successes, and it is about, kind of like, what was the struggle for you? What was
Right.
the struggle in the beginning?
Right.
Because that's how we kind of
Right.
find
Determine what
our goals.
yeah.
That's how we
Yeah.
determine them, definitely, and that's how we eventually make it to that success. Is
Right.
like, well, you mentioned about being pregnant. Well, if you're someone who's been having fertility problems or something of that nature, and then you finally reach the point where, the doctors have cleared, you're pregnant, this baby's ride or die right now. You're kind of like, well, we just dodged, what our past problem was.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that other obstacles can't come along the way, or, fears, doubts. All of those things are just a part of life. They're a part of every piece of life, business included. It's no exception. But I think, the biggest goal for everyone should be to figure out what your goals are. And if you haven't already, we actually blogged about that.
Right.
And it is live on the website. But figuring out what your goals are and who or what will get you to that.
Right.
Because you do want to be successful. I don't
Absolutely.
think anybody's gone through life and they're like, I want to be the most unsuccessful.
Be it what success is for you.
Everything. Yeah.
And everyone, goes through different processes in life. We all are not the same.
Right.
And what might be difficult for you might not be for me, and what
Right.
might be difficult for me may not be for you.
For sure.
We all have different priorities in our lives and different goals, different aspirations. We all have, and you can't judge somebody based on what you're like. For me,
Right.
I can't look at you and determine you to help me to be successful.
Right.
Do you understand?
Right.
I can't say, hey, listen, in order for me to be successful, you got to be doing this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's what I'm saying, is that I can't rely on you. You have your own goals and aspirations
Right.
that you have, that you set aside, that you say, okay, this is what's going to make me successful. And what it looks like for me, it wouldn't look like for you.
Right.
Right? So for me, family for me is important.
Mm.
My grandkids anybody can tell you, I go about this all the time. And for me, I have a picture of my grandkids on my desk, all of my grandkids, and when I look at that picture, for me in the morning, that is what drives me. For me, that's what drives me, because I want them to be in a world that is better. You know, I want to make things a little easier for them. I don't want them. I know they will have struggles. Don't get me wrong. I can't knock their struggles.
Right.
But I'm trying to make an easier way for them.
Right. A
in
legacy.
life. Absolutely. So in order for me to do that, my idea of success might be totally different to yours, because my drive is different. Right. What drives me is not what driving you. You know what I'm saying? So that does not mean to say that your success is any less than my success.
Right.
You understand? So, everybody's struggling with something. That's what we know. We all struggling in our lives, in our businesses.
For sure.
My thing is that don't look at someone else, to determine where you should be in your life. I always say, if you want a successful and happy relationship, make sure that you're happy and successful. Right? Because I think we often look at the other person to determine our happiness. We often let the other person determine our success. You cannot be whole and successful in any business or relationship if you yourself are not successful and whole within you.
And that's not to say that you don't have people there that will support you in your goals or hold you accountable to getting to your goals. That's, again, up to you. It's your discretion. You get to choose who you disclose that to. But at the end of the day, you can want this goal reached all you want to. You can want it with all your heart, but without action on your part, not anyone else's, without the action on your part, it will not come into fruition. It is a personal journey, and it can be kind of like a community journey, but for the most part, you're the person that you're left with at the end of the day. And if you feel like you're not finding that success or you're not growing, you definitely have to reevaluate, for sure.
You know, there was this saying, we still have it. I mean, it's still something that is said. You want to be a doctor, dress like a doctor. You want to be a teacher, dress like a teacher. You want to be, but let's face it, you can't go everywhere dressed looking like a doctor, right? You can't go everywhere dressed you can't go everywhere dressed as a teacher, right? Let's face it. It is a terminology that we use because we want you to not only think about it, but we want you to try and be who you want to be and kind of live your life in the direction that you're heading to. But it's a literal it's a statement that people make, but it's not. You shouldn't take it literally, right? Because if I wanted to be a doctor, for me to be dressing in a gown everywhere I go as a doctor, I mean, come on, so that's what I'm saying, right?
You will not get clearance.
We gotta get real with this thing. So, on the same note, as you brought this whole thing up, what do you see for Talisha now that we are on live, and I always believe that God is instilling in us what we are supposed to give to the world. I'm just a vessel that He uses. It's not about me. It's bigger than me. And I think He uses me to be a blessing to others, be it in design or whatever it is. What do you see for yourself in terms of your success? What do you see for yourself in a few years?
For myself in a few years? Well, growing in my marriage, growing in my various ministries. I'm very involved in my church in a number of ways. So just blossoming in that, growing in this business, and our partnership, and our growing family of
and that's
colleagues.
exciting too.
Yeah.
So it's amazing because when you run a business, it has so many different aspects of it that make this business run.
Right.
And people don't really see all sides of it, right? You as the owner, you know what it takes to run this business, and there's hardships in different areas.
Right.
But when you have people that you have around,
Well, avenues, personal life, work life.
it all works hand in hand.
Yeah.
At the end of the
For
day,
sure.
it does.
Sorting out what your balance is and how you're gonna go about it. Those are the biggest takeaways. That's what we're trying to work on. And
so, guys, we leave you today, and we say that we have enjoyed this program. We look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks. Next week we have a DIY. Little event that we're gonna change into a fall setting. So we want you to log on and see what it looks like when you can take what you have and make it work, and just change some pillows, some drapes, maybe add some accessories.
Right.
And you don't have to, it doesn't cost a lot of money for you to just change through your seasons. So please keep watching. Next week we're gonna do that, and we have a lot of things coming up. So I want you guys to tune into our website, our Facebook, YouTube channel, guys. Go to our YouTube channel. No one has been going to the YouTube channels. Subscribe, like, just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go to our website. Go on Google and check us out. So we're gonna leave you guys today, but until next time, God bless. And we will see you. This is Design Decoded signing out.